Not every jar of mayonnaise is what it seems. The label might say real, light, or with olive oil, but flip it over and a very different story unfolds, one written in seed oils, chemical preservatives, and industrial starches. Today, we're breaking down 5 mayonnaise brands that put profit before your health, followed by 2 that actually earn a spot in your kitchen. Pay close attention, because one of these jars is probably sitting in your fridge right now. Worst to best. 1. Duke's Light Mayonnaise. The Southern legend's shadow of light on fat, heavy on tricks. Duke's built its name on bold yolk flavor and a no-sugar recipe. Its light version throws all of that away. The label lists water first, followed by soybean oil, modified food starch, egg yolk, then gum, potassium sorbate, and calcium disodium EDTA. That's not a recipe. That's a lab formulation designed to mimic mayo while cutting corners everywhere. Can run a knife through a cold spoonful and the trench holds like spackle. Spread it on warm toast and a wet halo forms as water bleeds before your first bite. On lettuce, the finish turns gummy, with a faint sweetness where real egg richness should be. People grab the light jar thinking they're making a safer choice, then end up eating more because the taste never satisfies. The sodium per tablespoon stays roughly the same as the full-fat version. Portions grow, the trap closes quietly. If you're managing cholesterol, blood pressure, or kidney health, this jar is not your ally. Lower oil doesn't mean better oil. Chemistry stayed, flavor left. 2. Store brand value mayonnaise. The bottom shelf giant, cheap now, costly latter. You know the label. White, plain, and stacked high. The pitch is simple, real mayonnaise for less. The back tells a different story. Commodity soybean oil leads, followed by water, eggs, vinegar, sugar, and calcium disodium EDTA to protect flavor through long distribution runs. The goal was never freshness, it was sameness. Coast to coast. Leave a jar in a hot trunk on a road trip. Pop it open at the motel and a sweet, plastic-like scent rises on the first twist. The first spread glides like lotion, the second clumps like cold pudding. By day 10 on a warm counter, a pale ring of liquid forms under the lid while the surface stays glossy and the bottom grips the spoon like paste. Former private label managers confirmed that oil origins can shift mid-year to chase lower prices. Specs rotate with the cheapest winning bid. No focus on oxidation, no section on flavor fade after opening. That silence spreads onto your sandwich if you watch blood pressure or triglycerides. This jar stacks sodium quietly and delivers a heavy omega-6 load with every scoop. 3. SIR Kensington's Classic Mayonnaise. The glass jar, gentleman, pretty jar, plain story. The glass jar, the matte label, the restrained typography, everything signals premium. But crack the seal and check the label. Sunflower oil leads. Not avocado, not olive. Sunflower neutral, easy to blend, cheap to ship, and prone to oxidation once air and light hit the jar. Flavor dulls faster on the counter. A faint sweetness creeps in over the weeks, not because the recipe improved, but because the base oil is tired. Chill the jar hard and the surface turns chalky. Warm it up and a plastic-like sheen appears. Spread it on cold lettuce and the finish fades, leaving a soft sweetness that reads like coating, not flavor. Former specialty buyers confirm that glass packaging raises perceived quality regardless of what oil sits inside. Shoppers assume gourmet means olive or avocado, until they read the fine print at home. Paying more doesn't reduce your omega-6 load. It doesn't lower your sodium, it doesn't fix the oxidation risk once the jar is opened. When packaging wins, your health numbers lose. For Hellmann's with olive oil, the green label that sells Italy in a jar and delivers a starch lab. The front says with olive oil. The ingredients list starts with water, then canola oil, soybean oil, and olive oil appears well down the list. Modified cornstarch and gums hold the body together. This is not mayonnaise by legal definition, it's a mayonnaise dressing. The reduced fat pitch is built on starch and water, not better oil. Spread a line on a plate and watch it hold a rubbery ridge, more pudding than emulsion. Warm a sandwich and the edges weep clear liquid while the center sits glossy and stiff. That's water and starch doing their job too well. Retailers confirm that the with olive oil label moves volume and reduced fat sets no matter what the back panel says. Starch thickened spreads encourage bigger portions because the mouthfeel stays plush even with less fat. 2 tablespoons slip onto bread without you noticing. The seed oil base leans heavily on omega-6, a poor swap for anyone managing triglycerides or inflammation. Olive oil plays a cameo, starch takes the lead. 5. Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise. The comfort jar with a quiet asterisk, familiar, but not honest. This is the blue and yellow classic that taught many of us what mayonnaise should taste like. But the label today reads, soybean oil, water, eggs, vinegar, salt, sugar, and calcium disodium EDTA to protect flavor. That's not grandma's bowl. That's a supply chain recipe engineered to look perfect in every fridge. The emulsion is tuned to stay stable under heat and time. Consistency wins over freshness. 1 teaspoon delivers roughly 90 milligrams of sodium and 10 grams of fat, with soybean oil leading the fat profile. Seed oils oxidize faster once air and light hit the jar, nudging the flavor from clean to flat. If the lid stays loose, leave it open on a warm counter for a week and a thin, glossy film forms on top. The scent shifts from bright lemon to a faint metallic edge. Stir it and the top looks like glass while the bottom clings like paste. It spreads, but it doesn't feel alive. The label still says real. The recipe serves distribution best to better. 1 Primal Kitchen avocado oil mayo. The jar that actually spoils, and that's a good thing. Open the lid and the scent is clean, slightly buttery. Stir and tiny air pockets breathe back at you. The surface is matte, not showroom shiny, because there's no starch gloss here. The label is short and honest. Avocado oil, organic eggs, vinegar, mustard, salt, and rosemary extract. No starch, no ETA, no sugar, no mystery gums. On warm sourdough, it melts into the bread instead of sitting on top like frosting. In tuna salad, it pulls flavor forward rather than coating your tongue like a film. This is mayo that supports the food, not a paste that smothers it. Specialty buyers confirm that shorter shelf dates and cold chain requirements are intentional, built to protect flavor, not extend warehouse time. If you track triglycerides or want a better LDL pattern, this fat profile is a smarter daily base than any heavy soybean blend. No added sugar means no subtle sweetness pushing your portions higher. Sodium stays reasonable, giving you room to season your sandwich without turning lunch into a blood pressure event. 1 tablespoon goes far because the mouthfeel comes from real fat and egg, not thickeners. Keep the jar cold, use clean spoons, and close the lid tightly. If a light oil sheen appears on top after a few days, stir once and it comes back together. That's real emulsion behavior. Your doctor would approve this swap. To chosen foods avocado oil mayo. The warehouse-friendly clean label that actually tastes like food. Twist the lid and the scent is fresh and mild. On a knife, it forms a soft ridge that settles naturally. No rubber wall, no gummy drag in tuna salad. The fish flavor stays bright and clear, not perfumed. The formula is short: avocado oil, cage-free eggs, vinegar, mustard, a touch of honey in some versions, salt, and rosemary extract. No modified starch, no EDTA, no trick gums. The best part? You can find it at major warehouse and big box stores, not just specialty shops. Buyers point to consistent sourcing and clear quality specs as the reason chefs trust it for large batch salads. Logistics teams accept tighter inventory rotations to keep the fat profile clean. That trade keeps flavor honest. If you're replacing a soybean base, this swap lowers your omega-6 load while keeping you satisfied. A more satisfying spread means less salt reaches for elsewhere. For anyone watching blood pressure or kidney function, that small daily shift matters over a month of sandwiches. Stir 2 parts of this mayo with 1 part Dijon and a pinch of paprika for deviled eggs that pop without a salt bomb. For coleslaw, thin with lemon juice, add celery seed, and skip the sugar. The crunch tastes brighter because the fat isn't fighting stale flavors. Store cold and dark. Don't park it on the door shelf. It's not built to survive a heat wave in the garage, and that's a feature, not a flaw.